All right, Kenman here, and today we are on Dye project number 52. Miguron Perism the third? Is this the third one of these I've done? Wow, really doing it. But man, we're on Dye project 52. I got a couple in limbo out there, like 15 and 38, whatever they are. We may get back to them one of these days. Stick around, find out. Let's have some fun. I am not sponsored by anyone. I purchased these knives at retail price. I do these videos because I love discussing knives and sharing info and ideas with others. If you have any questions or thoughts, please feel free to comment below. What a fun one we're going to have today. No edits. Let's do it. So, I already have dyed this exact knife several times. This one was also white, made it this nice red. Got some great action. We have the back spacer that you can use as an accent color or leave it the same. What are we going to do with this one today? But the action on these is just great. Like I said, I've done a couple of these. I did another one in hot pink for the Wheezies. And yeah, I have another one over there as well. So we've got several of these to do. This one was one on my, on my 5K giveaway. I just had that, celebrating hitting 5,000 subscribers on the channel. Thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate it. It was a really good time. I do lives on Thursday nights, 6 p.m. Central. But I gave away a bunch. It ended up being like 6 knives I gave away, but this is one of them. And Josh won this one. And we are going to do a custom dye for him. He has chosen blue. So we are going to do a variation of blue with this today. Let's get some last looks. Boom. Great action on these. Sits pretty much right in the center. All you have is the flipper tab, but it feels great in the hand. Excellent little user. These are only like 30 bucks, 30, 40 bucks depending. I know times change when you watch this video. Might have no longer be at that, and you'll yell at me for it. And here we are. All right, let's set this table. Zoom out, make everyone a little dizzy. We'll do the before and after shot quick. There's your... Actually, it'd probably be better for me to do it like this. Before. Boom. Alright. Now I gotta remember to do the after later. I think I might have forgot that on a video. I forget to weigh them sometimes. You never know what's going to happen on the channel here. I usually try to keep everything mostly live. We're going to do an edit here because we're going to go to the other room. But I like to just kind of be, just let it be how it is. You get to see the whole kind of process. I'm not going to skip anything here. We're just going to do a cut and move to the kitchen. But let's take this thing apart. Bada boom. So Miguron is great, and they use a lot of T6s. I mean, Kenman. T8s. So like the pivot is a T8, and the body screws here are T8s. I'm just kind of going in and kind of getting everything started. Sometimes when you loosen one side too much, barrel or something spacer on the inside might stick to that other side, and then you give you a little bit more of an issue. So I just kind of like to loosen everything, just make sure it's all going to come apart real nice. I've had ones where you have to, see, this is just kind of spinning, where you have to go back and retighten one side in order to get it to loosen on the other. Get this pocket clip off. There we go. Almost. There we go. I guess the screw was out. That clip was just a little tight pressure into that little recessed area. All right, and that is not going to come out until we get her completely apart here. Go ahead and finish the pivot. Always pay attention when you take the knife apart so that you can get her put back together the same way. Generally, if you have a button lock or something where there's more springs and things on it, that's when you definitely need to pay attention. All right, so we've got that piece there. Here is our blade. We have a spacer with the liner, and then this barrel here, which is stuck to that screw. So that's where I'm going to have to hold on to it so I can get it to release. There we are. Those go here. There's the stop pin, other end of the pivots. And we have done it. Okay. So we've got these scales here. I'm going to move this stuff up like so. Couple of nice scales. They are dirty. Now you can see where that pocket clip was. It's got a little dirt spot. When you put the pocket clip back on, it's going to cover that back up. Man, I cannot talk today. It's going to cover that back up, but still want to clean these off as best we can. There's some oils, some residue on here. Basically, any of those is going to act as a resist. And so then the dye won't stick there as well. Since these are solid white, you can't see through it, so it wouldn't matter as much if they were like a jade and then the dye didn't go as much there. When you look through it, you would notice that particular section would be lighter. So I'm going to take these to the sink. We're going to wash them up, and then we'll be ready for the dye. These are going to go in. It'll just be a little time lapse. You can kind of watch that happen. We'll kind of speed through it, and then we'll meet back here after they've gotten their color and get her put back together. All right, let's move to over there and... All right, we are here. We're ready to go. I've got them on these little hooks so I can drop them into the dye. I've had the dye heating up. It's almost boiling, not quite boiling. The heat basically helps activate it. And so we're going to put them in here, swish them around a little bit, make sure there aren't any air bubbles on there. If you get an air bubble, that's a spot on there that is not taking dye. We've got the back spacer as well. And you want an even, or what we're going for on this particular dye is I want a nice even coat. And so if there's an air pocket on there, it's going to take differently. And then when you take it out, that spot will always be lighter. And when you dye it some more to darken it up, it'll darken up the darker spots just as much as it darkens up the lighter spots. So it'll always be that same kind of color. I am going to now basically let these sit. We're just going to do a nice uniform color, so we want them to sit for a few minutes. So I'm going to put this on a time lapse. We'll speed it up a little bit, and then we will take them out and see how they are. Okay, I think these have sat in there long enough. I'm going to start taking these out. I think I took the back spacer out a little sooner. Since we're not looking at it from the side, we're looking at it from the edge. It's actually going to get darker quicker. So taking that out just a little bit early. Try to keep them the same color. I've been watching and checking, as you could see in there in the sped up part, just kind of see where it's at. Oh yeah, I think we are good to go here. All right. When I put it in the water, it basically neutralizes the dye. And then you can rinse off, kind of wipe off any little specks that might be on there. Sometimes you could see maybe when it was in the dye, it kind of develops little chunks. And those little chunks, if you let that sit on there, that could continue to create more color change. Here we are. Dab this dry quick. All right, we got the back spacer. We got these pieces. They got that cool blue showing up with the contouring on there. And now we will go ahead and bring this back to the table, get it back. I'm going to dry it off and we'll get it put back together. And oosh, all right, we're back. They're dry, they're blue, the color Joshua T has requested. Will it be complete? Will I get it back together? What's going to happen next? Let's find out. Do you enjoy these all-in-one customizations? Hit that like button. Subscribe if you would like to see more. All right. Can we do it? Let's see. We should do... Captive pivot goes on this side. There's a little dent right there. There's a flat spot there. So the Miguron sits just like that. So we want to pop that in there and then hold that pressure on that. Make sure that that stays where it is supposed to stay. Okay. So we will reassemble this as best we can in hopes that it all turns out. Why? What is that? So this was here. What's that hole for? I don't know. I mean, is there a... Okay, let's see if we can make this happen. All right. So when you put a knife back together, you have to be careful about the centering. So I won't completely tighten everything down. I'm just going to get everything kind of in position, and then we will work it out. Like I said, if you just pay attention when you put her back together, you can get everything all centered nicely. And if you have an issue, then all you got to do is loosen it up. There's a couple techniques that you can kind of do to get everything kind of tweaked back how it's supposed to. If it was centered when you took it apart, excuse me, then you shouldn't have much issues getting it centered when you put her back together. Okay, I am going to close this blade. We're going to crank that down. So I like to crank down the pivot first, get it pretty much tight. You don't want to crank it so hard that it's tough to loosen, but you want to get it fully tight. Now the blade is a little bit that direction. And when we loosen it back up, it should push it back over. I'll go ahead and crank down these screws here. Kind of go back and forth just to make sure they're both nice and tight. Alright, pocket clip only has one option on this knife, so we can do that. A couple of T6 screws for the clip. We got this thing all back together. Piece of cake, right? Alright. So because the clip screws are right next to each other, when you get one tight, generally it relieves a little pressure on the other. So I like to go back and forth a couple of times. Make sure they're both nice and tight. And we've done it. Let's get this out of the way. Now we can loosen the pivot just a little bit. Keep that blade at about center where it was before. And flip her out. What you want to check is right here. You want the blade to be solid I mean, unless you never were able to keep it solid. Some schmutz in there. Sorry, I'm distracted. If the blade was solid, like I said, when you took it apart, then you should be able to get her back together and have a nice solid blade. If it's too loose, then you'll have some play. You want to work on trying to, like I said, get that center right where it's supposed to be. The flip out works pretty good. The drop isn't too stiff. If it's really stiff, sometimes you either just need to break it in or add a little oil. It appears that this is perfect. Great action on this. Man, Miguron just kills it for that $30, $40 price range. G10 D2 blade. This is a great using beater. Customized now. We got the black, the blue and the black. Look at that back spacer. Good match. I like how the contouring gives it kind of this wood grain kind of a look. So you see how each layer kind of shows up a little bit more with the dye. That blue and black pop, boom, 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 boom. Very cool, nice look. We'll show that before and after again here. What's everyone think about the finished product on this? I enjoy it. Miguron makes, like I said, some really nice things, and even on the budget side, which is this one falls under, but looks great. I hope Josh likes it. I'm going to show him a picture, message him, see if everything looks good. Get it shipped out to him for his winnings from my 5K celebration. Thanks again to everyone who supporting the channel, watching some vids, getting involved in the discussions that we have. It's just a great time. I'm really appreciative. And we're going to continue to do more in the future. If you want to check out a couple more custom vids up there, this blue looks great. Comment below, what color would you do? I could do another one soon. Stay sharp. I'll see you later.